This is the current state of our living room.
You're going to have to excuse the state of the living room.
And over the last 3 months of renovating our flat room by room, our living room has been left neglected and has turned into more of a dumping ground for tools and materials. Now with all the other rooms completely finished and renovated, it's time to turn our attention to completely transforming this room from a building site
How am I going to do this?
to a dream space to relax, unwind and connect.
This is, without doubt, my favourite room in the entire flat.
Finally, the time has come to work on what has been, or what will be, our living room. As you have seen throughout all of these videos, the living room has literally just been a storage area where we have stored all of the tools, all of the materials, but today is the day to finally start doing some actual work on it. Get the walls painted, prep it, all of that stuff, and hopefully by the end of this video, this room will be completely transformed into our beautiful living room. The first thing that we're going to do is exactly what we did in the kitchen. And we're going to change out these lights. So what we actually want to do is change these 4 spotlights, which are currently not in the centre of the room at all, to actually have 2 spotlights. When I say spotlights, I don't actually mean spotlights, I mean downlights. So we're going to have 1 light here and then 1 light here. So just 2 lights hanging down in the living room. So let me try to explain this a little bit better so you can actually understand what we're trying to achieve. These 4 spotlights here are the original lighting in our living room. What we want to do is replace these 4 downlights for 2 new downlights in the center of the room.
Right, I'm going to take all of these down now, see what we're dealing with cable-wise, and then I somehow need to work out how to route the cables from one of these light sources to the middle of the room. I'll figure it out as I go along.
The first step was to remove the 4 original lighting fittings. These were just held in place with a few Allen key screws. So what we want to do is put 1 pendant light here, roughly in the middle, and then the other pendant light on the other side. So now what I've got to try and figure out is how to get 2 of these cables in the middle of the room, because there's going to be joists above here, which is going to take a little bit of planning and poking around to see what is what. The next thing to do was just to mark out exactly where we wanted our new lights to go. So we took a few measurements from the walls to the center of the room and marked this on the ceiling. The big issue with trying to move these lights is that we had no access to the ceiling from above, so it made things a little more complex and challenging, especially as I'd never done this before. The original plan was to work out where the joists are, put a magnet on the ceiling to find the screw holes, then find where the joist is, and then drill specific holes next to the joists, then drill through the joist to feed the cables through. However, the new plan is actually a plan that Evie said, and she said to me, why can't you just drill, or why can't you just cut a channel from this light here, which will have the power source, to where we actually need the new light to go. So I've personally never seen this done before from all of the YouTube videos I'd watched and all of the research that I'd done online, but I actually thought it was a great idea. Because instead of the time and effort that it takes to locate the screws, then the joists, and cut a bunch of holes in the ceiling, why not just cut a simple channel from your existing light to your new light and then fill it all back in afterwards? This is the current situation. This is where obviously the existing light has come out, and that is where we want it to go. What I do find peculiar is there's actually a gap here from the joist to the ceiling where I can get my finger in, and it's likewise there. So there's a couple of options now. I can either drill through the joists here and feed the cable up through the joists, or I could put this cable in some conduit and then just tuck it up in here, tack it to the top, and then we'll plaster over it, which I think might be the option that I go for, but I'll try and just work out now how the existing cables have been run. So for 99% of this work, I'll have a very rough idea in my head of how I've seen it done before from the research that I've done prior to actually starting. But generally, as I'm doing it, I'm making it up as I go along. And the more steps I go through, like disconnecting the original lights, taking a few measurements, and now cutting out these channels, the more I can work out what needs to be done next. Now I had both channels cut out for the new locations for the lights, I just needed to extend this lighting cable so that it would reach the new position on the ceiling. So I grabbed some Wago clips and extended this cable and put the connections in this junction box. Because I was going to be tucking this cable up into the ceiling, I wanted to add an extra layer of protection to the cable, so I cut up some PVC electrical trunking, fed my new cable through it, and then tucked this all up under the ceiling. Now, to fill this hole back up that we just cut out, I had a plan. I grabbed some pieces of batten I had lying around, cut it down into about 6 different pieces. Then I put this up through the hole and screw this all down into place through the plasterboard. Then I grabbed the piece of plasterboard that we'd cut out originally and screwed this onto the battens until it was all back together and it looked like this. Next, to completely fill these cracks and holes and to make it look like nothing had ever happened on the ceiling, we picked up some paper joint tape and some filler, which was absolutely awful to work with, and we hated this stuff. We'd cover the area with some filler and tape and spread it out as evenly as we could, but honestly, it took us days and days to even get it to a standard where we were relatively happy with the finish. I'll show you at the end of the video how it turned out, but I'd love to get any advice on the best method and the best products to use. Let me know down in the comments so I can learn a better way of doing this next time. Now we'd moved our lights, it was time to turn our attention to painting and decorating the room. I'm not going to go into detail about the process of how we painted and decorated our living room, because if you want to see a more detailed video of this process, then go and watch our bedroom transformation video. What I will say is make sure to leave a huge thanks to my mum. Stop showing off. She wasn't doing it like that before, I tell you that. An absolute superstar when it came to decorating the living room. At this point in the entire flat renovation, I was so done with painting and decorating. So I forced my mum to spend a few days bonding with me and Evie as she painted this room by hand. Drop a comment down below to say thanks, Debbie, and make sure to leave a like if you're enjoying this video so far. After 3 days of painting and me being the ever so grateful son that I am, I gave myself the job role of quality control. God almighty, it's just been blind person's done this, isn't it? What? Timbuktu's been in here and done this. Look at this down here. Look at that down there. Look at that there.
Yeah, no, it does need another coat.
Oh my God. Here we go.
Me. I thought today would be my last day.
Old Edward Scissorhands, that's it again.
Oh no. I look forward to you building me my wardrobes.
No, bugger that.
Page you will. Tit for tat, mate.
After a stern word with the old dear about a second coat being needed and a bit of blackmail in question, I got back to work doing a bit of DIY electrics. Like we did in our kitchen and throughout the whole flat so far, we're replacing the standard white sockets for these beautiful, shiny, black nickel sockets, which we actually bought off Amazon, so I'll leave a link down in the description if you're interested in these so you can buy them yourselves. So these are the lights that we're going for. This little piece I've got here in my hand will go onto the ceiling, and then these 3 clusters of pendants hang on some wire and then will dangle down. My first job with actually putting up these lights is to put this little metal bracket and screw that onto the ceiling, because then what happens is you screw the frame of the light fitting to the edges of this just with a couple of screws, and then it fixes the entire light. So first things first, screw this up, fix it to the ceiling. Fixing this is nice and easy. You just put it up in the position where you want your light to go, mark the screw holes through the fixing bracket, put some pilot holes through the plasterboard, whack some raw plugs in, and then screw the bracket to the ceiling. And then it's just a matter of repeating the same process for the other lights. It's the next part of this process that isn't quite so easy. Here comes the fun part. I need to wire this in to the cable dangling down, and also screw this to the bracket that I've just fixed onto the ceiling. And to be honest with you, I need to be careful so I don't smash them because
I've already cracked one.
So this is definitely a two-man job, or should I say a two-woman job, because some days I don't even know what I am. But in hindsight, after watching this video, I have no idea why we didn't just remove the glass and attach it afterwards. But you live and learn. If you've never done this job before, then let me tell you that standing on top of a ladder with your hands held up above your head can tuck all of you inside. Whilst trying to connect electrical cables together. Shit, under the sofa, pass that one. Whilst trying to fix a minuscule tiny screw into place. That's in. Oh. Are you sure that's sitting flush? I don't think it is. Oh, trust me, this job is always an absolute pain in the arse. Don't scratch the floor. Come further. Put it on. Ah! Why didn't we think of that before?
Oh god, it's slipping.
Hold it.
Okay.
I need to move the ladder.
Don't move, don't touch. It keeps slipping.
Oh! But after a lot of sketchy moments and a slightly different approach to installing a light pendant, drop a comment down below if you've ever seen a professional electrician install a light like this. One light in! Got to do the other one, and then we've got to get some bulbs, because we haven't even got any of them to test it. Ah! Okay, we now have two beautiful new hanging pendants. I'm going to go to Home Base or Screwfix to get some bulbs for this, and then let the Lord, what is it? Let the Lord, let there be light.
Why is the Lord just let there be light?
Let there be light. So sadly I couldn't get hold of any light bulbs that evening to test our new lights. So we decided to crack on and start work on installing a TV bracket to the wall, which of course is going to be holding up our new and very sexy TV, which you'll see at the end of the video. To fix the TV bracket to the wall, thankfully it came with this cardboard template, so all we had to do was trace and mark this on the wall, make some holes through the plasterboard with the screwdriver, as this is where the bracket then gets screwed onto the wall. We have got a heavy duty TV bracket, which I ordered on Amazon a couple of days ago. It can hold up to 60 kilograms, and our TV, you'll see it probably tomorrow, so later in this video, is a 65-inch Ambilight Philips, which weighs 26 kilos. So now, time to fix this onto the wall with some special fixings which I've got, which are these. These, I believe, are some of the strongest plasterboard fixings that you can get. What they come with, actually no, they don't come with, a tool that you have to buy is this. So how it works is, I'll show you in a minute anyway, you basically push this into the wall, bang it in with a hammer. You then undo the screw and you clamp it open or closed. And what it does is it compresses the metal here, so it creates a sandwich between the back of the plasterboard and the front of the plasterboard. So it's nice, sturdy and strong. So, I mean, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of them plus 2 actual wood screws. This ain't going to go anywhere. So exactly how these fixings work is nice and easy, although they can be a little bit temperamental at times. But as you've seen me do already, you just make a hole in the wall where you want your fixing to go. Then you just tap this plasterboard fixing in with a hammer. Bang it in. Like so. Loosen the screw off and then grab this special tool that compresses the fixing to the plasterboard. Then once that's all nice and tight, you just remove the screw until you're ready to fix your object to the wall. We probably went massively overkill, but because this is a big TV, I wanted to make sure that there was no chance of it ever falling down in the future. Next, it was as simple as screwing the bracket to our new fixings. Of course, making sure that you have the TV bracket the right way round. That always helps.
It's upside down.
Upside down?
Yeah.
You plum. Now we had it flipped the right way round, it was just a matter of screwing this all into place and making sure that everything was nice and level and nice and plumb. This is going nowhere. We got 2 fixings in stud work, and we got about 10 other fixings into the plasterboard. TV's only 26 kilos, so perfect. Now that's on, I can figure out all of the exciting stuff for tomorrow. So before we get the living room all done and dusted and this flat 100% finished off, there's something I want to share with you because I think you're going to find it very useful. Me and Evie are off to a place where neither of us have ever been before, and it is the City of Love. And I know from past experience from my own travels when I've been to India, to Nepal, to countries in Southeast Asia like Thailand, Laos and Cambodia, it was an absolute faff to get internet. However, Saily is a new eSIM service app. And an eSIM provides an internet connection wherever you travel and saves you money on roaming fees. So how it works literally couldn't be any simpler. You download the Saily app, and then, as an example, because me and Evie are going to Paris next week, let me show you. You click here on Explore Plans. Let's type in France. You've got 1 gigabyte, 3 gigabyte, 5 gigabytes, 10 gigabytes, and so on. And because I know that I often use a fair bit of internet wherever I am in the world, I'm going to go with a 5 gigabyte. So you just click on that, $11.99. So if you scroll down a little bit and you type in got a coupon and you type in the code whereabouts, you can actually get a 15% discount on that eSIM package. So now it's going to cost me $10.19 for 5 gigabytes of data whilst me and Evie spend the lovely weekend in Paris, and I know that I'm going to be connected whenever I need to be. If you guys want to check out Saily for your next trip away, which as you can see is so simple, download the app, pick a plan, job done, you're now connected. You can get an exclusive 15% discount on the Saily eSIM, use the discount whereabouts at checkout, and then you will save 15% on that data plan, and you can stay connected while you're abroad. Right, before we go to Paris, I need to get this living room done. So, on our back wall here, where our TV bracket was fixed last night, we are going to be putting up some of these oak acoustic panels. They add a nice bit of a feature to the wall, hence we are going to be creating a feature wall. We picked up all of our wall panels from a company online called Leaders Trade, as they were so much cheaper than buying them from Wix or B&Q, and they also had way more colours to choose from. So again, if you want to check out the panels and where we got them from, I'll leave a link to Leaders in the description. And then obviously the TV will be fixed on here as well. These panels will be behind, and then to add to that, because this flat isn't huge, the one thing we're lacking is a bit of storage. So inside all of these boxes, I have 5 shelves, or 5 kind of storage boxes, which are actually going to be floating. But these shelves are basically going to be attached to the wall and hanging just below the TV. So we'll have acoustic panel on the back, TV, and then the floating hanging shelves. How these boxes, which I'll show you in a minute, fixed onto the wall is again via a bracket. This bracket gets screwed onto the back wall, and then the boxes that I'll start assembling basically just hang onto them. So when I actually fix these to the wall, I need to make sure that they're all bang on level and the same height, otherwise it's going to look god awful. This is all from IKEA. We bought this months and months ago and we've just had it sat here. So let me build one of these up. I need to find the instructions somewhere, and then you'll be able to get a far better understanding, as will I, of what the hell I need to actually do. I won't explain the process of putting all these boxes together because it's just your classic DIY IKEA flat pack furniture that always seems to take a lot longer to build than the instructions say. 2 hours later, and 5, whatever the heck you want to call them, storage cupboards now built and done and dusted. I do really like the look of these just because they've got that kind of marble stone effect on the front, and then just kind of like a dark brown wood effect on the side. And like I say, that is going to look fantastic hanging there. So to hold these boxes onto the rail that will eventually get screwed onto the wall, I just needed to whack these brackets on the back of the storage boxes. Then I needed to work out my exact measurements of where I wanted these to be hung on the wall. Again, making sure that everything is nice and level. After that, I could start working and fixing the holding bracket to the wall. Oh yeah, that is strong.
Gonna take you for a ride in my brand new car.
According to my calculations, the top of the shelf or the top of the storage box thing that I'm about to put on should be on that line. Little bit off, but not too bad. This is it, a floating storage unit. And obviously I'm going to put one here, and then two on the other side. So we'll have a nice long row of them. So I am going to crack on, get them, oh God, all connected, these on the wall, tighten everything up, and hopefully it should look good. So this process of fixing the brackets, like a lot of these jobs in this video so far, was just rinse and repeat. Although you'd think after fixing one bracket to the wall, things would become easier and faster. There was a lot of screwing and then unscrewing, rechecking my levels, and then it really didn't help that Evie decided to put all of our acoustic panels behind the door, which then decided to fall on me. Oh! What have you got?
I'm trying to shut the door.
What have you got? Hold on, wait for me. Don't drop it. You almost broke my f***ing wrist. Thankfully, my wrist took all of the weight instead of my head, otherwise I'd look a little bit more lopsided than I already do. But things like this is just classic DIY for you, and having boxes and boxes of materials, tools and all sorts scattered all over your home is just part of the process. After pretty much an entire day of constructing and installing these floating boxes, I was pretty damn happy with how it came out. Level. Have a look at that. Doesn't get any better than spot on ducky. I did get a little bit too excited the other day showing my mum how level things were, and I've smashed one of our new lights that I put up. We now need a new glass kind of shade to go over the pendant, because I got so excited, I swung the level up in the air, smashed the light, glass went absolutely everywhere. But the main thing is, our shelving units, our storage units for the TV are beautifully spot on and level and pucker. Now, the next thing to do, which I've already started to do, is to get out these acoustic wall panels, which we're going to be putting on the back of the wall here. So, without further ado, let's get this living room finished off and let's get this feature wall done and dusted. So for those of you that have watched the previous video where I completely rebuilt our bathroom from scratch, you'll know that if there's one skill that's lacking in my DIY repertoire, it's my carpentry skills, which from time to time do me extremely proud, but also from time to time, they drive me insane. Well, I can't lie. It was all going perfectly because it slots into the bracket absolutely beautifully. And then I realised, oh God, I f***ed it up. Look what the hell I have done. I have no idea why I cut the length as short as this. In fact, I do know how. Because I just measured from the bottom and then measured up, and I've measured it the wrong way around, and I've cut too much off the bottom. It's not meant to stop there, let me tell you that. It's meant to go all the way down from the top, beautifully fits into the bracket, like absolutely unbelievably well. And then the easiest bit, just one straight cut, one simple measurement, and I've absolutely f***ed it up. Now I'm trying to think what to do, because do I have enough panels to try and redo it? Or do I need to try and bodge this somehow? I honestly cannot believe it. It's perfect. It lines up with the line. Oh, Will, why did I have to cut the bottom of this short? So annoyingly, I didn't have enough panels to recut this entire piece and start again. But you'll see at the end that thankfully I got away with my mistake. Tired from walking up and downstairs with these panels, but I've just gone and cut the second piece, hopefully correctly this time. That's it, there we go. Oh, Will, you beautiful angel, sent from heaven above. Have a look at that.
Nice.
Booyakasha. Cuts are perfect there.
What's happened here?
No big gap. Yeah, well, that wasn't supposed to happen. Oh, okay, well that one's perfect. What I'm going to do is continue on this side, and then I believe I might have one spare panel, and if I do, I'll redo that. To stick the panel to the wall, what a lot of people do is they screw it to the wall. I don't want to add any more screws to this plasterboard wall because I don't know what is behind here. Well, I do actually. Our kitchen, so pipes, electrics, water, etc, etc, etc. So I've just got some no nonsense self-grab adhesive. So I just splattered a good amount of this adhesive on the back of the panel, and then we just pushed this onto the wall nice and firm, trying to make sure that it was all stuck down properly. After I'd stuck down one piece, I'd then repeat this process of measuring and cutting my next panel, and before I stuck it down, I dry fit it to make sure that it fits. But the next few pieces weren't quite playing ball, as like in our bathroom, nothing in this building is square, plumb, equal or level. And with my basic knowledge and carpentry skills, it really tests my patience. God, why is it so tight? You know. Oh, I've got to trim the top. Try that again. You. More has to be cut off, really? Oh my God. You mother. It's because this ceiling's not straight, not level, not square, not plumb, not.
You wanted to buy an old house.
Not anymore, never again. So again, I'd love to get some advice from any carpenters, any woodworkers or any wood enthusiasts out there of the best way to measure and cut these panels precisely so they fit in first time with no gaps at the top or the bottom. Well, I think I'm getting better at woodwork. I'm not, because still a lot of things confuse me. I did an angled cut initially and it didn't fit, so then I've kept cutting it. And now we've got a gap at the bottom. This is what I'm talking about. All of these lovely, 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 and then, oh bollocks. We've got about, I don't know, a centimetre gap there. We've got no gap at the top, but that's the end that I've been trimming. So yeah, my carpentry skills, of course, during this entire flat renovation have got so much better. But as with everything, I want to keep getting better, more knowledgeable and more experienced. So any tips or advice are greatly appreciated. Right, I'm going to get the rest of them up. I can't be bothered to film it because I've got to keep going down, then up, then cutting, then measuring, then down, then up, then cutting, then measuring. So the next time I see you, this will be done. At this point in the flat renovation, the end goal was in sight, and it had now been 3 months of renovating this flat. From the bedroom, the smelly, most unhygienic kitchen, our damp and rotten bathroom, and now the final room being the living room. And to be honest, I was getting pretty fed up and exhausted of walking up and down these stairs, and every mistake near the finish line seemed to knock me back 10 steps. But ladies and gentlemen, after 3 months of doing all of this work, making hundreds of mistakes along the way, and learning all of this on the job, I feel so proud to finally share with you that the final room in the flat is now renovated and we've officially moved in. So there is no doubt that we absolutely love the way that this living room turned out. It has been an absolute bomb site for the last 3 months, but to turn it into a space that looks like this, that feels like this, that has kind of our own personal touches and is just so comfy and nice to come in and relax, watch some TV,
we couldn't be any happier with how this turned out. You guys know me, I absolutely love nothing more than LED lights. So of course, underneath the floating IKEA TV cabinet, I put some LED strip lights, just stuck them on underneath, which looks bloody awesome. And then the TV that we've gone for is a 65-inch Ambilight Philips TV, all because they have these LED strip lights behind the TV. So as you're watching TV, the colours of the LED lights actually change. So it adds a nice bit of a feature to the already feature wall, and it makes it feel a little bit more immersive. We love how the pendant lights turned out, because as you saw at the beginning of this video, we had 4 spotlights in the room, but then obviously rewiring and moving these lights turned out so good. And they're also on a dimmer switch as well, so we can change the lighting up and down, which is great. The nice thing is as well, you can't actually see at all where we moved the lights from to the new location. Don't get me wrong, if you look really closely and in perfect lighting, you will be able to see it, but thankfully it's nothing too noticeable. I'm so happy with how the acoustic paneling came out, especially considering, my God, that was an absolute faff, because nothing in this entire building or flat is level or square. So trying to understand how to scribe things to the correct heights and the measurements, oh my God, it confuses the hell out of me. The nice thing is, to cover up my dodgy cut on the side here, we put a piece of trim which actually finishes it off really beautifully, so it works perfectly. This sofa was an absolute bargain bucket from Facebook Marketplace. I think it's like a £2 new sofa, but we actually got it for 500 quid, and it is basically brand new. So super happy with that. We can sit here with a bunch of friends, a bunch of family members, and just sit down, watch TV, put your foot up on the puff, on the nice soft carpet, and just enjoy an evening or a moment just to relax. I know I'm going to get so many questions about all of the little details and the things in here, like these cupboards, the acoustic panels, the TV, and even to these walnut shelves, which we love. We only put them up the other day. They just look so beautiful and add a nice bit of contrast on the wall and just help to kind of remove any dead space. All of the products that you have seen in this video, from the shelves, from the rug, and absolutely everything, I will leave a link to down in the description, because I know I'm going to get a bunch of questions like I did in our bedroom from people saying, where did you get this from? Where did you get that from? So everything will be linked down in the video description. The last 3 months had no doubt turned into a much, much bigger project than either of us had ever anticipated. We genuinely thought that as soon as we got the keys to the flat, we were just gonna do a light bit of redecorating and move straight in. But it has turned into one hell of a project, especially that bathroom, which is my most proudest achievement that I've ever done so far. And I just cannot wait to keep doing more DIY related projects like this, because I just want to keep getting better and better, and I really, really do enjoy it. We have officially moved in, and this really does feel like home now. There's still loads of little touches and things that we will add in time. We would absolutely love to get some cool prints and some pictures on this back wall, because that will just kind of fill this space. A big question that I've got is, what's next? Because a lot of people think that we just bought this flat to do up and sell on, and we didn't. This is our home. This is where we're going to be living for however long that we decide to live here. But the big question, of course, is what is next? And I would absolutely love to do more property renovation and DIY work, but it's not feasible or achievable to now go and buy another property, do it up and start from scratch again, because property is expensive. So what we are going to be going back to is a few more van builds, and I honestly cannot wait to just use all of the skills that I've been developing over the last few years, keep developing and improving on the skills that I have, just to create and build on some more awesome projects. And the van that we're going to be converting, you've already seen before. Whoa, stop!
Fucking hell, that wasn't me. That was the van.
I cannot say thank you enough to all of you guys that have watched this flat renovation series, because without you guys watching, I'm not able to create videos like this. So thank you so much to every single one of you that has liked, that has commented, that doubted me, that thought that I could never do this. And the only thing that I really want to do is keep improving, keep working on projects that I find interesting, that I want to share and that I want to film, and just to create some awesome videos. Thank you guys so much for watching the flat renovation series. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of hard work. So please make sure to give this video a like, and I will see you very, very soon with the next project.